December, was that last December, right?
Yeah.
We had talked about doing the exchange surgery,
Oh, yeah, exchange surgery.
right?
Yeah, my
You
question
have
is,
expanders in, right? We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
remove
still
it.
have
Let me see how this is
expanders.
looking. So they look really good. Okay,
okay, one is smaller than the other, and I'm not this small, and I'd like to have you at least expand it a little bit more.
let me just take a look.
You have enough skin
Sit
there.
straight for a second. So we might be able to get one more expansion. You're not gonna get much more because what happens with expansion, the tighter it gets, the thinner
Well,
the...
we have skin. Look at
Yeah,
this.
you have
Look
skin,
at
you don't
that.
have much fat.
Well, the skin.
You have skin, you don't have much fat. So the more you expand it, the more it thins it out. And at the end of the day, if your skin is too thin, you need to have this for the rest of your life. It won't hold up. You'll lose your implant. So, you know, we might be able to squeeze a little bit more in, but that's really it. You know, you had 2 mastectomies that were pretty thin, and it is what it is, and your tissues will only take so much.
2 mastectomies that were pretty thin, you said?
Correct. So who did your mastectomies?
I forgot his name.
Alzheimer, maybe?
Yeah, Alzheimer. But it doesn't
Yeah.
even matter because he's already done it, so it's not like he's going to
Correct.
go and put something back in.
I can't put anything back in either. So I have to work with what's there, and if what's there is very thin, you can only get so much before the expander will come through the skin. It'll erode right through it. You need tissue to hold things in place.
Mm-hmm.
So at most, if you really want to push it, I'm not particularly recommending it, I would do one more expansion.
I think it can do one more because it was much tighter than this.
That's about it.
And it's, you know, I mean, I like the job. I mean, I think it did a really good job. Just like, I feel like this is...
And in terms
not-
of 2 different sizes, your expanders are exactly the same,
Mhm.
okay? And your implants will be exactly the same.
Well, I think
Meaning
maybe...
the two implants will be exactly the same.
Okay.
If they look different, they look different because again, the mastectomies are a little different, the amount of tissue there, you have a little more tissue on one side than the other. Your chest wall is not perfectly flat, so if you sit straight and you look at your chest, you sit straight for a sec. Your chest over here sticks out more than it does over here.
Okay.
You know, so if your ribs, no one's perfectly symmetric.
Okay, that's fine.
If your ribs are not perfectly symmetric, which they're not, no matter where I put the implants, one's going to look like it's a little fuller than the other. The amount of tissue you have is a little different. You're actually quite symmetric in terms of how these usually look. So if you're unhappy with this, you will probably be
I'm
very...
not unhappy with it. I just want...
You will be very unhappy with your implants because your 2 implants are also going to look a little asymmetric. Position, shape, size, they're exactly the same. You are not, so you will not be perfectly symmetric. Just so you know what to expect here.
Okay, right, okay, and so with that being said, I'm with going for a little bit more. I think that...
So you're going to have one more expansion today,
Yeah.
and then that's done. I will
Okay.
not recommend doing anything more. And then whenever you decide you want to set up your surgery, you can set up your surgery. The plan will be remove the expanders, put in the implants. And your implants are always a little bit smaller than what your expanders are because usually once we remove it, your tissues have elasticity, they tend to shrink down. And you can only put in that big an implant, it tends to be a little bit smaller than the expander.
So the the implants are also smaller.
Are usually a little smaller than the expander. Depends on you. Some women, the tissues are very lax, they remain, and I can put in something that's very close. And some women it's 10 or 20% smaller. It varies.
Okay.
This is not it's not like building a car or a house or something where you can do these precise measurements and you buy what you want and you put it in there.
Well, I mean, I would hope so. We're in a 2017.
That's not
so,
how. Okay, so that's not
so
how
let's,
it works.
You know, so I just want to. I'm just
okay,
thinking.
so one thing,
hopefully
I'm going to
thinking.
tell you something right now. You don't seem to be very happy, and you seem to want to do things your own way. If you don't like it, go see another plastic surgeon. Maybe get another opinion because there's only so much I can do for you, and I think you already look pretty good. And if you're unhappy with this, odds are you will not be happy with what I have to do for you. And maybe you need to hear it from someone else, or maybe just go see someone else. I have 7 other colleagues. They're all very good surgeons. We all have slightly different approaches to things. But that's something you need to, I think, address, because I have a feeling you're not gonna be happy.
Why do you have a feeling I'm not gonna be happy?
You're not. And-
No, I'm
and I
happy
think-
with
And you're
this.
looking for things that
No,
you're
the main thing, I'm happy with this,
You're-
the main thing is that
you're looking for things that I don't think I can give you.
No, well,
And whenever I get very nervous about operating on patients who are looking for something that I can't give them,
no, but
because
see,
those patients are gonna be no matter what I do, there's gonna be issues and they're gonna be unhappy. And I think if that's the case, maybe you should see someone else and get an opinion, because you're not taking my opinion as part of the problem here, right?
no, because you're doing all the talking, so I haven't had anything to say, I haven't gotten to say really what I wanna say.
Right.
The main thing is that I think that I can do one more expansion, or you said one more. I thought, it looks like I had room for more, but if you say one, that's fine.
Right.
And then whatever the next step is, but we have time, because I still have to see you and come back in May to do it. I'm sad, I like what I see.
Right.
Just that I know that this, is so small, it's not what I'm used to.
I know. And I
And-
know what you want, but I can't give it to you.
Yeah,
So,
I want big boobs.
You want deep
right.
cut breasts or something,
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen.
Right, in my
So-
head, I went through the whole process. I didn't,
Right.
in my mind, I know I didn't even have to go through this process, but they did it.
Yeah.
They did it because there are things that we can do to help ourselves. So, but the world is not on that. So I went through the process, not to have surgery, to have, new boobs. I didn't do
Understood.
that. Not at all. But if I mentally went through that, then at the end, let me have the last say. Not last say.
Again,
I'm maybe
so
saying-
this is
saying-
my point.
saying the
This
wrong
is my
thing.
point, okay?
I'm just asking.
So I can do what I can do, and I can tell you what I can do. And if you're not willing to accept that, then you need to go see someone else.
Good. It's not that I'm not willing, because I would
Right.
tell you. I would tell you.
Right.
I would say, I'm not happy. Can you
Right.
get someone else? I'm saying, can you give me another?
Okay, so I'm telling you that at most I would do one more expansion. I wouldn't recommend anything more.
Okay.
I realize what you want. You want to be much bigger. I can't give it to you. Okay, so if that doesn't sound good to you, go see someone else, get an opinion. Maybe you can convince them.
I will.
Maybe you can convince them to do what you want. I can tell you what I can do, and
Okay.
that's it. Okay.
And I appreciate
And
that.
as I said, you will have 2 implants that are a little bit smaller than this last expansion that you're going to get. You will have. They will not look perfectly symmetric ever. You will be able to pick out things that are different between the two. I can certainly pick out things that are different, because no one is perfectly symmetric. And
Okay, so tell me this. You just now said, so all the other stuff I understand. You're saying that if you do the expansion again today, even when you put the
final implant.
final implant, it's going to come back smaller. Is that what you're
The
saying?
final implant is usually a little bit smaller than the final expander.
Okay.
Because if we put an implant in that's the same size as an expander, it's going to be like a rock. Your expanders feel like rocks because they're very tight, they're stretching out.
Mm-hmm.
The implant's going to be a little smaller so that it sits properly, so it's softer, etc.
That's fine.
Okay, but
That's fine. I just wanted to ask, can I get another
as long as
expansion?
you understand what I can do for
I totally understand.
you. Okay,
I really
because
do.
You came
And I
in
think
and
you
you
did
told
a-
me that you want to be a lot bigger. You
Well, I
told
didn't know
me-
how else to put it.
You told me that these two are not the same size. They are.
And
They don't look the same. They never will. So as
I'm not worried about that.
I'm explaining to
I
you
mean,
what
if I have you, I'm going to say everything that comes to my mind.
right,
How about
I'm-
that?
But I'm explaining to you what I can and can't do.
Okay.
And if you're not satisfied with that, then go get another opinion, because
How many times are you going to tell me that?
maybe you need to hear it from someone
No,
else.
I understand, and I don't mind getting a second and third and fourth opinion. I have time to do that.
Right.
So that's not the issue, but I appreciate that. That's great. But if I'm going to come and sit and talk to you, I
Right.
want to say what I have to say, and
Right.
and it's okay. You tell me your professional, opinion,
Right.
and I really appreciate that. I like what I see. I thought you
Right.
did a great job.
Great.
Just that I would I'm saying I see some skin. From the very beginning, I wanted it to be a little bit bigger,
Right.
and I said, let me come and ask him if it's possible he can add some more, because it's not as tight as it was when I came here.
Right.
Is that possible? And so
Right.
you answered my question. But maybe I might want to have another opinion, and I appreciate you sharing that with me. And I know it's out there. This is a big world we live in. So
Right.
I've had several opinions in the beginning with this whole, not with yours, with the reconstruction,
Right.
but just in general. So I'm aware of
Okay.
that. So I appreciate that.
Fine.
And
So one more expansion today. If you want to do surgery, you can set it up whenever you want. I will see you a week or two before, and you'll sign a consent, and you will tell me what kind of implants you want. Silicone or saline, I think we had that discussion.
I did say silicone, but I think I'm gonna go with saline.
Right,
And I know you explained to me that the waves and so forth,
right.
I really don't
So
care.
you got it.
And with the saline, I have to go and do checkups every
Every couple of years.
Every
Long
couple-
term, it'll be every 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, and the drawback really is rippling. The advantage is you don't have to worry about MRIs leaking, etc. So everything has its advantages and disadvantages.
So honestly, I don't, even though
It's who you are. You decide.
yeah, even though one is bigger than the other, it's not a big deal to me.
Yeah.
I like it the way it is. So
Fine.
I was just asking, maybe we can get it. Is that
Right.
possible? But you said no. So I mean, you explained to
Right.
me the situation. So I'm just throwing that out there
Fine.
as one of the questions. But again, having to weigh the benefits in terms of, or I don't know if it's of not having to show up and do these, expose
Right.
myself to what I've been exposed to all these years.
Right. Okay, so final expansion, and if you decided you wanted surgery in May, that's fine. I will see you a couple of weeks before.
Okay.
Okay.
How much are they putting in?
Let me look at what you have, but
Okay.
I think probably about 40.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.